On today's podcast, we're talking about the recent Harvard Global Leadership Development Study, findings from 2025, and my reflections on what these trends mean for how we approach developing leaders and cultures in the year ahead. Stay tuned to learn more. Welcome back to The Thermostat with Jason Barger. If you're currently on a commute, a walk, or just a micro break in your day, glad you're making time to step back, to think, and to reflect on the next steps on your journey. I've never been more convinced the best leaders and team cultures in the world are the ones that make time to step back, breathe in good oxygen, and calibrate their thermostat. I hope today's conversation leaves you feeling grounded and inspired. Now let's dive into today's topic to engage our minds and hearts in order to authentically lead and create compelling cultures wherever we are in the world. Hey everyone, it's Jason and welcome back to the Thermostat Podcast. Wherever you are and however you're coming to the podcast today, welcome in. So glad you are here. We are in the final stretches of Season 9, which means we have well over 300 episodes now, which is awesome. So if you're new to the podcast, welcome in. So glad you're here. So glad you found this. 300 episodes. All you got to do is Google my name, Jason Barger, whatever topic around leadership, culture, mission, vision, values, accountability, trust, communication, whatever it is, and chances are you're going to find something that you are looking for because there's 300 some episodes. Also, amazing conversations I've had with thought leaders from around the world, so I hope you'll check those out. If you're one of the OGs that have been with us from the very beginning, so glad this continues to add value to your life and your work. My commitment to the listeners always is I want this to be a place for you to step back, take a deep breath, have some good oxygen breathed into you so that you can think about that temperature that you're trying to set in your life and your work. And every time I record one of these, that's what I'm aiming to do. And I hope it resonates with you and meets you where you are. If you'll do me the quick favor before we dive into today's topic, if you'll rate the podcast 5 stars on whatever platform you're on, leave an authentic review in your own words. Those are two main ways it helps the algorithms work, continues to amplify these messages further. Obviously, every time you share the podcast, hey, social media or with your team, colleagues at work, say, hey, let's listen to this episode, talk about it. That helps amplify the messages. And obviously, if you haven't subscribed yet, I invite you to do so. So thanks to everybody who takes a minute to do that. As the end of another year is approaching, it is a time to be reflective on what is happening around us, what we've learned, hopefully moments to pause and be grateful for where we are, and time to begin to be hopeful about what is to come in the new year. For those of you that know me and know the Strengths Finder tool from Gallup, I know many of my clients and listeners are familiar with Strengths Finder, but one of my top 5 strengths is strategic. Mine, if you're wondering, are belief, strategic, ideation, activator, and maximizer. And we'll go through more of my top 5 another time on a different episode. But the strength of someone, I want to focus on this strength of strategic, because somebody with the strength of, that has strategic in their top 5 is that we are people that love to see patterns. We love to see trends emerging. And we like to see, and we're good at being able to see that there are alternative pathways to proceed. Today's shorter podcast is going to be a quick glimpse into some of the most recent Harvard Global Leadership Development Study findings and my reflections on what these patterns and trends might mean for the year ahead. So, on today's podcast, we're talking about the recent Harvard Global Leadership Development Study findings from 2025 and my reflections on what these trends mean for how we approach developing leaders and cultures in the year ahead. Stay tuned to learn more. Let's pause, take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Many teams and organizations right now are realizing that they need to do both. They need to engage the minds and hearts of their people in person, where everyone in the room can experience the energy of congregating together and find clarity for the road ahead. And they also need to continue to find ways to engage the minds and hearts of their people virtually, with those who are working remotely or at a distance. So, if you are in the process of planning your next team meeting, company all-hands event, conference or culture summit, and are looking for support with a powerful keynote speech, facilitated team conversations that are the currency for change, or deeper development on leadership mindset and an intentional strategy for the culture you're trying to create, I hope you'll contact us at jasonvbarger.com, jasonvbarger.com. It is my privilege and our honor to partner with great people to provide support in these areas. We want to breathe oxygen into your leaders and throughout your organization so you can set the temperature you want for your culture. We look forward to connecting with you soon. I hope you'll contact us at jasonvbarger.com, jasonvbarger.com. It is my privilege and our honor to partner with great people to provide support in these areas. We want to breathe oxygen into your leaders and throughout your organization so you can set the temperature you want for your culture. We look forward to connecting with you soon. I'll put a link to the whole report for Harvard's 2025 Global Leadership Development Study findings in the show notes for today's episode, so you can check that out and download the full report and see it in its entirety. You can dive as deep as you want into their findings and the great research that they do, but I'll give you a quick snapshot and then just providing some quick reflections of my own on what this might mean for 2026 based on what I'm seeing within organizations across industries. So the Harvard Harvard Global Leadership Development Study involved over 1,100 learning and development or HR professionals from around the world, 1,100, 14 plus different countries. They were across multiple industries, and half of the companies that they surveyed had over 20,000 plus employees. The number one answer that came out of the survey from respondents on what they see as the main objectives for learning and development for leaders for future success was building a change-seeking organizational culture. 40% of all surveyed said their organization is putting more emphasis in this year ahead into focusing on helping their people ready themselves for change and talk about what it means to be a culture that is adaptable and proactive. The one quote from the findings, the front page of the findings that jumped out to me was, that said, quote, organizational learning is now a serious competitive differentiator. I've been saying that for some time, but how we're talking about things, how we're developing the culture that we're creating is the greatest competitive advantage we have. So quickly, what does this mean as we look into the new year ahead in 2026 for developing people and cultures within our organizations? Here are a couple of reflections or thoughts that I had as I looked at these quick findings. One, opportunity. Opportunity. There's always great opportunity to engage your people in defining what the desired future culture is going to need to be. So the opportunity that exists right now, not that we needed these results, but as you see these results of the world that we're leading in right now, people want it. And so the opportunity is, how do we engage our employees and our people in seeing what that desired future culture is? Another opportunity or reflection from the results is there's a chance to break routines. We need to, learning how to be adaptable begins with seeing alternative ways to proceed, which means we need to help our people talk about change and see how we might approach things differently. Most people, as we know, cling to their own routines. So we're going to have to be proactive about how we help people break routines and see new alternative ways to proceed. The other thing that comes to my mind is just culture in general. How we do what we do continues to be top of mind for organizations that are engaging their people and getting them all pulling in the same direction. By the way, that's just what people want too, is they want to be a part of places that are actively working on their culture. And the fourth observation that I have as I look at the findings is the words trust and hope continue to come to the surface. Trust and hope. In the end, what people want right now, in a very low trusting environment, by the way, where they are experiencing a lot of change that seems out of their control, they want leaders and teams that help them feel hopeful for the future. Not blind hope, but rooted in care empathy, authenticity. They want people who build up the trust by walking with them through the challenges that they're facing, and that can paint a vision for where we're trying to go in the future. So I don't know what you hear when you hear those results related to the recent study, but those are the things that bubble up in my mind. And as you start to come to the end of 2025 and you start to look to 2026, hopefully you're thinking about what are the opportunities that exist to kind of engage your people, break those routines, that culture is going to be important as ever, and how do you build that level of trust and hope? And what I'll say to you is it doesn't happen by accident. It's intentionally led. We have an opportunity to breathe oxygen into our people, and from that, there's energy. It's powerful. Calibrating our own thermostat starts with our own ability to think about these things, and then our intentional leadership into bringing others into thinking about the temperature that we collectively are setting together. So, a couple of questions to leave you with for today's quick podcast. How can you help your people think more about alternative ways to proceed? And what will you do to help build a culture of hope and trust for the future? I hope today's podcast got you thinking in some good ways. I hope it breathed some good oxygen into you, helped you think about the temperature you're trying to set in your life, let alone your work. And remember, the best leaders, teams, and cultures on the planet, they stimulate progress by recalibrating their thermostat together. So, step back, remember, be a thermostat, and breathe good oxygen. Thank you for listening to today's podcast, and I hope the messages and questions stimulate positive change along your path. As always, if these messages resonate with you and add value to your life, I hope you'll help amplify them throughout the world. Please rate, comment, and share on whatever podcast or social media platform you're using, and share this podcast with the people in your life or work who should be part of these conversations. That way, this spirit does, in fact, spread. If these messages or developing leaders and culture would be helpful to you and your organization, please contact us at jasonvbarger.com, jasonvbarger.com. And remember, we are all ambassadors for the culture we want to create in our life and work. We have to own the vision we want to be a part of. The future of leadership is you, is me, is us. Be a thermostat.